Welcome to Scott Cooks. Today we're going to be making good old-fashioned peach cobbler in the Ninja Foodi. This is a recipe I've been using for a long time. I've made probably a couple hundred of these. I'm going to put in the description everything, but I'll go ahead and read them off for you. This is about 4 cups of peaches. These are fresh peaches, frozen off of my tree out in the front yard. I've got a cup of flour. I've got a cup of milk. I've got a half a cup of butter, whole stick. This is to taste. I'll be using about a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg and cinnamon. We'll be doing a tablespoon of baking powder. And also to taste is the sugar. Depending on the sweetness of your peaches, you can go up to 2 cups. You want to make this divided. We're going to do 1 cup with one thing and 1 cup with the other thing. I'm going to only use about a 1 1/4 cup total because I know my peaches are very sweet. We're going to put this in the Foodi, 375, bake roast for about 40 minutes. Let's get mixing. To get things started, you're going to want to put your peaches in a pan on the stove and half of that sugar. So if you're using 2 cups, put 1 cup of sugar in. I'm going to put about 3/4 cup of sugar in mine. And you want to get that up to a good boil. While that's working, we're going to mix the other ingredients together, make it look a little batter. Okay, to get things started, put a whole stick of butter right down into the bottom of the Foodi. We need to melt that butter. So we're going to turn it on. We're going to use sear sauté. Let's bring it down to low. Go ahead and start it. Just keep an eye on that. We don't want it bubbly or anything like that. We just want to soften it down until it's completely melted. In the meanwhile, we're going to get the peaches into the pan with some sugar on the stove. For my peaches, which I know are sweet, I just use 2/3 of a cup of sugar. And we're just going to go ahead and bring this on up. Slowly cook it. It's kind of frozen right now, but we'll thaw it out, get it bubbly. Over here in the other pan, leave it on low. That butter is melting fast. Let's get a spoon. There we go. Just kind of move it around a little bit. I think that won't take long. Alright, over in our bowl, we got a cup of flour. We'll pour in a cup of milk. Gonna add probably another half cup of sugar. Again, that's the taste. If you want this really, really sweet, add more. Alright, we got a tablespoon of baking, not in there. We got a tablespoon of baking powder in there. We'll go ahead and stir everything up. Now this is not supposed to be a dough. It's going to cook into a dough, so it's going to be a little runny, which is exactly the way you want it. It needs to pour. But you do need to make sure you see that flour still on the bottom. So you need to make sure you really get down in there. You don't want any dry stuff hitting your peaches. So the way this works is we're going to put the peaches right down into the pan and pour this over top. Alright, so we're just going to mix this all up real nice. And this is not going to be thick like a batter. It's not supposed to be. This is going to purposely be a little thin and runny. Okay. And that's just about perfect. And all we're going to do is, once the peaches are ready, is we're going to pour that batter right on top of this butter. And then we're going to take our peaches and pour them right on top. And what'll happen is the cobbler which is this dough we're making, will rise up through the peaches and then up over top of them, making what I think is perfect peach cobbler. And once you got your butter melted in here, of course you want to turn it off. We don't want to turn that butter brown. So with that butter's melted, just sitting there waiting on us. We are bubbly over here in the peaches, so we're ready to put everything into the Foodi now. What we're going to do is just simply pour the batter right on top of that butter, and you see how it's just pulling around like that? That's perfectly fine. You don't need to do a lot of mixing or anything. And if yours looks like that, then you did it right, because that's exactly what it's supposed to look like. Now all we're going to do is pour the peaches right over top. Alright, peaches are in. Just kind of give them a little push to the edges. Don't do anything fancy. Make sure it cooks evenly. Just kind of push some of them around. It's perfect. Nothing crazy there. Alright, we'll close the lid. Turn it on. We're going to go bake roast this time. Go 375. The default is. We're going to go 40 minutes. Let's start. Alright, and we'll check it at about 30 minutes, see how we're looking. Alright, well, the house is smelling like a peach cobbler. We're up to 25 minutes. Let's go ahead and just see where we're at here. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is working out really nice. Crispy, brown. That rose up really nice in there. We're shooting for 40 minutes. I don't know if we're going to get there. Let's go at least 30. And we're going to have to keep a close eye on it. This lid is, you know, pretty far down, close to the cobbler versus the oven where the heat is more radiant. So we do want it to be cooked fully, but we don't want to burn it. So at this stage, we're going to keep a very close eye on things. We'll check back at 30 minutes. All right, we're going to do the 30-minute test here. Okay, you can see we've definitely got some dark brown. We're not burnt, but we're extra crispy. You know, that feels really good. I think we're ready. We're gonna go 2 more minutes, and then we're gonna let it cool. And that is something I wanted to talk about. How to get it out of the pot. Well, if you're not trying to present it, then I would just let it cool in the Ninja and scoop it out of there and just serve it up. Put it in a bowl for the leftovers. Or if you're trying to present it, well, that's going to be a little more tricky. One of my ideas was to invert the bowl after it's cool and basically have an upside down cobbler. I think I'm going to serve it straight out of the Foodi. Okay, that's about as far as I want to take this without getting it burned. So what we're going to do is close the lid, stop it, and turn it off. And if you haven't used one of these before, you may not know, that is going to continue to cook from the bottom for several more minutes, and it's going to stay hot for a long time. So what we're doing now is kind of finishing it off without using the lid. The lid is now off. So all the heat source is going to be really coming from the radiant heat and from the bottom where the elements are. And we're going to let that sit for, well, I don't know. We're going to let it cool. It's a good 30 minutes. Well, it's been about 30 minutes. Still pretty warm. Let's get a little bit out, see what it looks like. Well, that just came out really nice. Pulled right away from the Foodi. Be no problem to get this out. And there's your finished product. Good old-fashioned peach cobbler in the Ninja Foodi. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Leave me some comments. Hit the like button. And if you get a chance, go ahead and click on that bell. And then you'll get alerted whenever I put out a new video. Alright guys, enjoy. Thank you.